Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Ahoy, mateys.
Oh, that's a new one. Yar.
How are you all doing? That didn't work out very well.
We're gonna.
Sorry. We'll try it again.
Let's just scrap
We'll
this
try it
one.
again. Hello, everyone.
Yar. Shoot. Hi.
I'm Carol-Ann.
This is Matt.
So it is. And welcome back to another episode of Boozed and Confused.
Another one.
Another one.
Is this 69?
This is not 69.
68?
We're in the mid-80s. This
What?
is like episode 85.
Wow, time
Yeah,
just
I
flies.
don't remember what we did for episode 69, but I think I remember us saying something was fucking us.
That was the price I paid for gas this weekend.
Yeah, it was.
On the dot, did not pay ahead to be funny. Go, haha. Hey, Reddit, look at this. It was genuine.
Yeah. Did you post that to Reddit?
I didn't.
Oh, you should.
I will.
They're going to call you a karma whore. Anyway, so welcome back to another episode of Boozed and Confused. To start out, a few housekeeping items before we get into what is wrong with humanity.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
So the first thing is we're on all your favorite social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If somebody is like a YouTube guru, can you tell me what happened in like the beginning of March that changed it so that we basically got no views? Like we used to average a pretty decent amount every day. And then all of a sudden it like dropped off like March 1st or 2nd. And I'm wondering if like somebody reported our channel or like if something changed in their algorithm. I don't know. I have no idea.
You're being way too positive. This is not a shadow ban. We just suck.
Well, it's everybody else's fault but my own. But yeah, if social media is not really your thing, you can send us an email at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you in a couple days. I have some personal emails on my own email that I keep forgetting about. So if it takes a hot minute for us to respond, it's my fault.
I have like 10,000 unread emails in my personal account.
Yeah. Let's see what's next. If you like the pod and you want to support us, the best way that you could do that is by leaving us a review and or subscribing or following wherever you get your podcasts. It makes a difference. And actually, very surprisingly enough, it used to be like, I don't know, evenly split like between Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And now it's like really heavily Spotify.
Hey,
So,
I use that.
Hello, Spotify friends. I'm also a Spotify person.
What up?
What's up? And what's the last one? What are you drinking?
Ooh, I'm drinking a Coors Light.
Yeah, that's.
You have the fun one.
I do have the fun one. So I'm drinking Golden Road Brewing Mango Cart. It's a mango wheat ale, and it's delicious.
It's fantastic.
It's really good. It's a good summer beer, and it's like 4%, so not too bad.
It's crushable. You can have like
crushable.
7 of them.
Yeah. It's
You can
crushable, but I have no booze tolerance, so I could have 2, and then it's time for bed.
Then it's bedtime. Yeah. I had that one the other day, and it reminds me of like a 312 if it were better.
Yeah.
The mango.
They tried a little bit harder.
It's not too sweet. It's a great finish.
Yeah.
But it really pales in comparison to this magnificent lager, the Coors Light. I'm more of a Coors Banquet kind of person.
Yeah.
But we saw some friends the other day, and we got Coors Light because everyone likes Coors Light.
Everyone likes Coors Light. Not me.
It's like the most popular bottled beer in Europe.
I am a Miller Lite gal myself, and that's just my culture. My Southside Chicago culture.
Well, Miller Coors works together.
Yeah.
It's all the same guy now.
Yeah.
All the same guy.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to do a taste test. You can test me with my Coors Light versus Miller Lite. I think I would fail.
Yeah, probably. I feel like a lot of light beers just taste the same. That's fine. All right. So today we're going to talk about gene editing for humans for Mars. Like your genetic modified humans, but specifically for like Mars and space travel.
Spoilers, I bet they're all at least 6'5".
Yeah. Yeah, so nobody can reject them on Tinder.
Make me taller.
Genetic modification that just like sets the bar so much higher than for height. It's like, oh, sorry, instead of like, 6'5" being a really great height, now it's going to be too short and you have to be 9 feet or taller.
My short kings out there. Though I actually did hear that not only on Earth, you're taller when you wake up.
What?
You're tallest when you wake up.
What is that, like your spine?
I don't know. It's your body.
I will have to Google this when we are done.
But astronauts have been known to become taller while in space for long durations of time.
Is that just a gravity thing?
It's a gravity thing.
Interesting.
So I think inevitably people on Mars would go from like your standard 5'5" king to a 5'7", 5'8"
king.
Also king.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah, so we'll get into it. So thanks to capitalism, there's a new space race in town, but it's between two dudes who are in the middle of like a midlife crisis each, and they're just trying to get to Mars like before the other one. So Elon Musk has dreams to send like 1 million people to Mars by 2050, but Jeff Bezos just like wants to make it there. I have not seen plans from him of like trying to colonize Mars. He talks a lot about like space colonies and says it makes more sense for that instead of like colonizing a brand new planet like Mars. Whereas Musk is like, for $100,000, you could take a round trip ticket to Mars, although it could just be a one way.
I thought it was one way.
Yeah, it's probably just one way.
The money becomes meaningless.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did also hear that little doorway on Mars that we talked about last time is actually going to be an Amazon shipping station.
Stop it. That was really funny. I take it back. You're not that funny. That was not a genuine laugh. Haha. Oh, is that supposed to be a joke? Oh, that was good. You got me on that one. All right. So how long have you had that one brewing?
That was just top of the dome. Top of the dome.
So clever.
It's part of the job.
So my thinking is like, why are we going to bother moving planets if we're just going to fuck that one up too?
Timeline. Yeah, think big. It would take us a long time to mess up Mars.
I don't know. Maybe it's more delicate than Earth. I don't really know. I'm not a Mars expert by any means. But right now, the closest thing that we've got to civilians being in space is like spaceship Neptune.
Is that the one where you like experience 0G for like a few minutes?
No.
It like flies up and then flies down and you float?
No. So this is like a giant space balloon. It's like 100,000 feet above Earth, and it literally looks like a hot air balloon. But if it were like Xenon Girl of the 21st century.
Love it. Zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
Make my heart go boom, boom.
Supernova.
My supernova girl.
But it's like $125,000 a seat, and it's a 6-hour journey outside of Earth's atmosphere, which is pretty expensive hourly rate. I'll be honest. That's quite a lot of money. So are you seeing a theme here though?
Yeah, it's this is like the maybe 2 or 3 steps away from where we are with the wealth distribution on those like inadequacies where I can see them being like, you know what, Earth is so last year, let's be posh and go to space.
Yeah, absolutely. So private companies creating space travel for civilians means it's just going to be insanely expensive. It's going to be only accessible by the ultra wealthy, and we'll get into that like maybe a little bit more later. But when we talk about living in space, there's this like really big piece that maybe people don't think about, Do you have any guesses?
On what we don't think about.
When you think about like living in space.
Well, I would probably think about bone issues. We would we'd have issues with our bones and breathing air. I think we'd probably need to know how to get water and food. Where's all the pee go?
Wait, actually, that's a really good question that I never thought about.
Where does the pee go?
Yeah.
Also, pens don't work in space.
They do not. No.
You got to use pencils.
Well, no,
you got to use a pencil.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a whiteboard.
Dry erase. I don't know. I know that NASA was trying to figure out how to make a pen work in space, and they spent loads of money on gravity-defying pens. And they go, pencil.
Yeah, but I think I know that's like a big running thing where it's like, oh, the Russians used a pencil. But I think there's like a thing specific to, was it the lead in the pencil or graphite in the pencil that made it like dangerous to use within, I don't know.
Everything. Oh, also like radiation.
Yes.
Solar radiation sounds horrible.
That is the big thing. So the whole thing that people sometimes don't think about is like, how the fuck are people even going to survive in space as we are, as this current species, whether it's like on Mars or if we're just doing like frequent space travel.
You need some good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like light some candles.
High quality atmosphere.
A scented candle or something.
Yeah.
Paintings.
Yeah.
Fine art.
I was going to say you're not going to be able to take your Bath & Body Works candles with you, but I'm pretty sure if you're on a spaceship to Mars, you buy candles that are more expensive than Bath & Body Works. Or maybe not. Maybe you're buying Aldi candles. I don't know. I don't judge. But through evolution, our bodies have adapted to Earth, right? We've done pretty well, I would say. Like evolutionary biologists say that fitness is a measure of natural selection in a way. And we evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. And somehow, right now, we're at the peak. And this peak is like sitting on the couch watching trash TV every weeknight.
This sounds like a you thing.
Yeah, that was specifically me.
Yeah, it sounds like a you thing.
I'm not alone, though.
No, you're far from it.
So there's this guy named Chris Mason, and Chris Mason is a geneticist and an associate professor of physiology and biophysics at Cornell University in New York. So he has investigated the genetic effects of spaceflight and how humans might overcome these challenges to expand the species, farther into the solar system. Something that's kind of interesting is they've already done some like limited research on, the Kelly brothers, the Kelly, Mark and Scott Kelly astronaut brothers. So Mason leads one of the 10 teams of researchers at NASA who's studying, these twin astronauts. And 2015 hits, Scott Kelly spends like almost a year on the ISS, and his twin brother, Mark, stays back on Earth. And so from this like very unique, very small sample size, they were able to compare how they biologically reacted differently to their obviously very different environments during that time. And they were just trying to understand how long duration missions affect the human body. So Mason and like all of these other researchers who are, assessing the genetic effects of spaceflight have this like shitload of data on just these two brothers, which was a great step, but obviously very limited. So when they were studying this, or what they found from studying this, is how certain genes are expressed during different stages of spaceflight. Also, particularly, the intense return to Earth, which is something I didn't really think about until I was doing more of this research. But apparently that's like one of the most dangerous parts of spaceflight is making that return back to Earth. It's like one of the harshest on your body, which I wouldn't have thought of.
Well, it's like entering the atmosphere, which is extremely full of friction. All that friction.
So much friction.
So much friction.
So much friction.
so much chafing.
Oh God, bring your Mega Babe, bring your chub rub. But if they were to continue these studies and they actually confirm that like landing back on Earth was super harmful to the human body, maybe scientists could develop ways to prevent those detrimental effects if we understand what the effects are. But obviously a small sample size can't really make that estimate yet. One positive thing that could be developed from this that Mason has floated around before is if we understand what the effects are and we understand maybe how to mitigate them, he thinks maybe astronauts could be prescribed like a medicine or some other kind of tools to help mitigate the effects of, you know, what they've found. But then they take it a step further and they say, instead of medicine, what if we just edit a little bit of your genes before you go up, and then you don't have to worry about taking any medicine or having any of these negative side effects. So like you had said, one of the biggest health concerns with space travel is radiation exposure. So maybe they figure out a way to make human cells more resilient to the effects of radiation. You know, astronauts could be like healthier in space for a longer time. But the other, I guess, like flip side, the neat part of that is you could use that technology for things like, you know, cancer treatments on Earth. So that would be nice.
Oh, yeah. But if that's cheaper than the current method of trying to treat cancer, that might be a no-go.
Yeah, it's not going to be profitable enough. Yeah. Obviously, gene editing, human gene editing is a super controversial topic. I think everybody remembers that doctor that did the gene editing of the twins in China, and he went to jail for it.
Yep.
Yeah, but so Mason, who talks a lot about this like gene editing, says that, you know, it's not going to be something that happens overnight, at least not on Earth. And it's going to be like decades of research completed before we actually start testing it on humans or trying to apply it to humans. You know, there's a few different like approaches though of how you could actually go through gene editing. So one is that, you know, future astronauts would go through this epigenetic engineering, that is.
Epigenetic.
It's a lot to say. But that sort of specific engineering means that you could like turn on or turn off the expression of specific genes. So it wouldn't be like an all the time thing. Maybe it's like very specific to space travel, which is kind of interesting. But then they're also talking about combining DNA of other species like tardigrades with human cells to make them more resistant to the harmful effects of, you know, radiation, other effects of space flight.
The water bears?
Tardigrades? Yeah, like the little
water bears.
Yeah, the little things.
The most resilient mofo in the known universe.
Yeah. They like, I think even survive like a space vacuum.
Yes.
Yeah. They're, if you look them up, I don't know. I don't have a picture of them in front of me right now, but
like
in my
six
mind,
legs.
they look kind of cute in my mind.
They're
but
not.
If I were to look at a picture, I don't think I would think they were cute. So as everybody's arguing about human genetic engineering modification, whatever we want to call it, Mason brings up a really good point, which is like, it's not if we evolve, it's when we evolve. And like at some point, humans are going to start, I mean, maybe we already have, but humans are going to start evolving again to have to adapt to places like Mars or whatever the future of Earth looks like. Otherwise, we're just going to die out. But he says that there's a way to like do this sort of science responsibly. You know, there's a lot of opportunities, but if, you know, they find out like they learn obviously something isn't going to be ethical, they're not going to do it. But it's a really slippery slope. I've thought about this a little bit. So if we were to engineer people on Earth to then send them into Mars to make them more adaptable to Mars, I think that's one thing. I think that's kind of interesting. You know, we could use like, what is it, that CRISPR technology?
Crispy.
Yeah. Make super crispy humans.
Humans.
Okay. So we do that with humans right now, say hypothetical, and we send them up into Mars. We see how it goes. Totally volunteer based, whatever. we have oversight here. We have like ethics committees. There are ways, I guess, on Earth to prevent it from being like totally crazy. But say you take that technology to Mars. Maybe these like genetically modified people go live up in Mars. They take this technology with them, but they don't take any of the ethics or any of the oversight. And then, they have a one-way ticket. So what the fuck do they have to lose? What's to stop them from just continuously editing to create like superhumans? Like what would that human race even look like on Mars?
Once you've removed the training wheels, the boxes that earthly morality has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of takes off the inhibitors.
Yeah. Everything in the name of money, or just being better than everybody else.
No,
I
it's
guess.
science.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when it was, not remember when, because I wasn't alive yet, but the, nations would race each other to space,
Yeah, the good
now
old
it's
days.
just a couple of rich boys.
Yeah. What's actually really interesting is I don't have it in this article, but maybe I'll try to find the link for it. But Martin did this interview that I was reading, and somebody had brought up, okay, so if we're going to engage in this space race, but from like a private, side of this, are we going to be behind because of our ethics? So for example, a country like China, who does have much more advanced technology than we do, but maybe less oversight or, less ethics involved, they are way ahead of us, I guess I would say. And so, is that going to put us too far down on the totem pole in terms of space? Like maybe Mars is not even an option for people coming from America if another country gets there first. I wouldn't fucking want us there either.
People calling dibs on
Mars.
This is my new space.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think about too. Like if we were to create these space colonies like Beth Bezos was talking about, instead of colonizing another planet, like how do you, I don't know. I just think a lot about Xenon, girl of the 21st century.
Oh, actually, you talking about the like humans changing really reminds me of this really excellent sci-fi show on Amazon Prime called Expanse, The Expanse.
Oh, yeah.
And to give a general, really brief layout, it's talking about there's like an Earth colony. It's not an Earth colony, but it's like Earth is still Earth. It's where the wealthiest live. Then there's like Martians. And then there are people who live on the asteroid belt who mine for like ice, I think. And they are exceptionally tall and lanky and can't really hang out on Earth because their frames can't survive the gravity. And it's a whole like social class fight, and it's a really gnarly, brutal, not beautiful future sci-fi show. I really love it.
Maybe I'll watch it. That sounds really good. I think I've seen some like trailers for it or clips from it. Sounds good though.
Yeah, I'm on season 2.
Yeah. Oh, you should wait for me. I'll catch up.
I will not wait for you for anything.
But it also kind of reminds me of Battlestar Galactica. Not that, Cylons were something that was created to be like a superhuman race, but that's kind of like what it evolved into. Spoilers. And then everything goes to shit. And then they basically have to start back at square one and find a new Earth to live on. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And thinking about some of the stuff that they talk about, like what you would have to adapt in order to live on Mars, maybe it would be like you can live with less oxygen, or, you could, we really get into like a eugenics thing here too, because, it talks about, well, you would want like the highest intelligence possible if you're trying to colonize a brand new planet. It kind of takes me back to when I first found out that to be an astronaut, you had to actually be good at something, and you couldn't just, be a Sally nobody and they'd send you up. You got to actually provide something to the ship. But yeah, so they, could engineer you to be smarter, increase your intelligence, reduce your anxiety, take higher risks. Maybe they could do that for me and take away some of my anxiety, but also not make me more of a risk taker because I like my place on the couch. Thank you.
Right on Earth.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all that I have. This has been an ongoing conversation or like debate in the science world for a pretty long time. If you were to just Google like gene editing humans for Mars, you find so much content, and Chris Martin pops up in a lot of these conversations because he is just such an active person, I guess, within the community who talks about it. But yeah, it's really interesting to think about. I'm glad I hopefully won't be around for it.
I don't think we have to worry about anything that we talked about today.
I don't think so either.
There is a Wikipedia link that I've looked at before, and I'm almost positive I've used this in past episodes. Just for like a reference here. This is like future science predictions. And it's predicted that it'll take 100,000 years to terraform Mars.
Oh, okay, good luck, everybody else.
That is to give it like an oxygen-rich, atmosphere, like on Earth.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Beth Bezos and Shmilon Shmusk.
I think they'll still be around.
I'm sure they will be. It's going to be Futurama, Talking Heads.
I love Futurama.
Yeah. Can't wait. Well, that's it for today. I've got some links in the show notes if you want to read more. Go Google Chris Martin. Go Google gene editing humans for Mars. And let us know what you think. Would you do it if you could? Would you take a one-way ride to Mars? It's not looking so bad these days. I don't know.
It's a lot safer out there.
Yeah. Well, all right. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.